Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful. My name is Phoenix, and yes, I'm shirtless because I'm exploring being authentic and not caring what anybody thinks or says about me. It's a good practice. I highly recommend it. Today, I want to talk about dry fasting and the spiritual, mental, physical power that you can derive from it. Now, there's a lot of myths around dry fasting, the main one being that after 3 days with no water, you will die, which is not true. And I can personally testify to this because I myself have done a 4-day dry fast. I did it while I was living in Costa Rica. And while it wasn't the easiest fast that I've undertaken, it definitely I survived. I'm here to speak about it. And what I will say is that it was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. And I learned a lot through that. But I had also had extensive experience with water fasting leading into that fast. And I worked my way to being able to dry fast for 24 hours, then 36 hours, and on up from there. So I definitely am not recommending that you just go cold turkey and dive into a fast like that. But one thing about dry fasting that a lot of people don't understand is that 1 day of dry fasting is the equivalent of 3 days of water fasting. And once you have experienced a 24-hour dry fast, you will understand what I mean. Because what happens is your body starts to undergo the cleansing and healing process that much faster. And if you think about it, this makes perfect sense because when we water fast, we're eliminating all food. And that's a big step because a lot of our power or our energy, physical energy, is diverted to digestion. And so when you eliminate solid foods, that's a big step in that direction. But then the second step is eliminating water because our bodies are already 80, 90%, I think, water or more. I think it's more than 90% water. And so what that means is that we don't necessarily need to be taking water in every second of the day, even though they say you should be drinking 8 glasses of water a day. I think that's pretty much collectively agreed that it's no longer valid or makes any sense. The amount of water that we take in really depends on the amount of activity, the temperature outside, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to dry fasting, you're getting rid of the water. You're no longer taking that in. And so it's using the body's existing stores of water in order to facilitate the cleansing process. The main takeaway from this is that the less you put into your body, the more efficiently your body's intelligence can work on your behalf to heal you and to help you to expand your awareness. And so when you use the existing stores of water, water also stores memory, it stores emotion. And so the longer you persist in a dry fast, again, moving up gradually, slowly over time after practicing with water fasting, the more your old memories and emotions start to surface and are allowed to be released and actually are literally released through your urinary tract. And a lot of those toxicities, the cellular toxins, actually will filter in through the kidneys and out of the body. And you can actually see this if you were to urinate in a bottle for a day. I know it sounds really strange. Just take a jar, a big jar, maybe a gallon jar, and urinate in it as you start to get maybe 16 or 18 hours into the dry fast. And what you'll notice after around 24, 36 hours is that you'll start to see cellular waste, literal white particles that will accumulate in the urine. And it may be a darker color, like a darker brown color, but then even in the midst of that, you'll be able to see these particles start to accumulate at the bottom of the jar. And that is literal cellular waste that you would not otherwise see if you weren't dry fasting. And so you can actually, for those of you that have a hard time believing, seeing is believing, you should definitely try that practice because I've done that. And I actually did that during my 4-day fast. And you wouldn't believe the amount of white particulate matter that was coming through my urine. And again, I wasn't taking anything during that time. So obviously it's more intense the longer you go into the fast, and it's not recommended that you go more than 24 hours if you are not experienced with fasting. And also there is a mental component because you need to be able to get beyond that idea or conditioning that you're going to die after 3 days with no water. Because if you truly believe that in your heart, then guess what? It's going to happen. And so it's mind over matter. But what I will say is that I actually know people who have dry fasted for 12 days or longer. And that seems really hard to believe. I totally understand that. But for me personally, after going 4 days, it makes sense that it would be possible to build up to that level. And there are actually people on the planet, there are great saints on the planet who don't take any food or water. There's one yogi in particular in India that I am familiar with who does not take any food or water, and he's totally fine. And actually they actually studied this man scientifically, and what they found was that his body's own intelligence, it was recycling the existing stores of fluid in the body. It was recycling it through the organs, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. And so the main spiritual benefits of dry fasting are clarity of mind, and this is a result of a decrease in inflammation throughout the body, and a more of a focus on the third eye in the area of the crown, more energy, more tingling sensations in that region, and more expansive awareness, because you're outside. At times you'll find yourself almost slipping outside of your body, disassociating, and being able to connect with that higher power, however that manifests for you. As far as the mental benefits, there are several, the main one being a resiliency, a general sense of confidence and courage, and feeling like you can conquer yourself, an aspect of yourself. And so you have this inner strength that begins to blossom within you, and this helps to develop your willpower. And they say that the willpower is centered in the third eye. The yogis say this, the ajna, which is the command center, and this is where we direct our will from. And you'll actually feel the energy start to circulate in that region as you dry fast. And so mentally, it gives you a certain toughness and an edge and an inner strength that is really invaluable. And if you build this over time with consistent dry fasting, and by consistent, I don't mean doing it every day or every other day, maybe you do it once a month for a 24-hour period, what you'll notice over time is that when there are periods without food or water, you're not sweating over it. And it's not such a big deal if you don't drink water first thing in the morning. As a matter of fact, I don't take water first thing in the morning. I wait until after my morning practices. So I might wait anywhere from 14 to 16 hours before taking any fluid in the morning. And that's part of my intermittent fasting schedule. And I feel more cleansing is allowed to take place because I'm getting out of the way. Just remember, with a dry fast, it's not all that different from a water fast. It's not something that we should be afraid of. It's something that we should learn to embrace. Of course, you are going to lose weight, and that may or may not be of interest to you, but do understand that it is more challenging to dry fast than to water fast, and the symptoms may appear sooner. So the healing crisis type symptoms, where you feel fatigued, maybe you feel headaches, maybe you feel certain sensations in the body that are uncomfortable in the organs, and just understand that that is literally your body working on areas of weakness. And so when you approach it from that perspective, instead of from the fear mindset of, oh my gosh, I'm dying, which is the societal conditioning, understanding that your body's intelligence is your doctor. It's the original doctor that can cure all, and just trusting that and letting it do the work and getting out of the way and really tuning in and listening and spending some time and laying down more if you need to and meditating if you need to, and not being so active. And so as an example, maybe it's not on a work day. Maybe it's on the weekend. Maybe you're relaxing in the shade and it's not too hot and it's not too cold, so that you're not feeling more irritable. Okay, so I don't recommend a dry fasting on when you have normal activity that's happening, especially if you're not used to it. For me, I can get away with it because I've been doing it for many, many years now. And so it's not really, it becomes more natural over time. But if it's your very first time dry fasting, find some time, set aside some time to be maybe in nature, to be in solitude, to reflect. It's a perfect time to really tune in to those internal energies and to help them to grow. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I could definitely say a whole lot more about this subject, and maybe I will if you ask me in other videos. I am going to be part of an amazing retreat here on Maui from September 10th to the 18th. It is called Heaven on Earth. I'm going to be one of many facilitators. There's going to be yoga, meditation, and amazing food, and so much more. It's at a beautiful retreat center. If you feel called to check it out, you can check out the website. It's down in the links below. Have a beautiful rest of your day.